This is the time of year when months of hard work in the garden pay off.
If you planted basil this year, you might be wondering, what do I do with all the extra? Rebecca Kolls has a few options.
As days start getting shorter and cooler, one of the first plants to respond is basil. So this is why you want to get out there and harvest as much as you can now, because as the leaves start turning yellow, we lose that potent basil flavor that the plant is known for. These whorls, by the way, are edible and very tasty, so leave them on. Now, before I take these to the kitchen, I'll wash them off real quickly with a little jet of water. Now, a lot of people like to dry their basil. I say, why bother? Because literally within months, it tastes like cardboard. Instead, what I like to do, if I have no time, I just take the stems in a large Ziploc bag and just fill the bag up with basil, stems and all. All right, so pop this in, and then what I'm going to do is put this in the freezer, and I'm going to let it freeze solid. Once it's completely frozen, then I'm going to pull it out of the freezer. I will do a quick smash. The basil leaves will just fall from the stems. Remove the stems, roll it up, put it back in the freezer, and I've got almost fresh basil all season long. Now that's one way. If you do have a little bit of time, then you want to make pesto. Now, for this recipe, we're going to start with 4 cups of basil leaves. So basically, this is the hardest part of the recipe. You want to make sure you take the leaves from the stem, and you can see the tops here. I just twist those off like so. And remember, if you have these seed heads, this little whorl, just go ahead and pull that off and slide that into your basil, because that is super flavorful and tastes delicious. Okay, so we've got 4 cups, and this is packed in, as you can see. 4 cups of basil leaves. We'll also need 1 cup of Parm or Romano, shredded, 1 cup of olive oil, 2/3 cup of pine nuts, or you can use walnuts, 6 cloves of garlic, coarsely chopped, and salt and pepper, and that's it. Place basil and pine nuts into a food processor. Then pulse several times until it's coarse. Next, we're going to add the parm. Remember, this is a cup of that, and 6 cloves of garlic. Okay, again, we're going to pulse this for just a few seconds, actually, until, again, it is incorporated and finely chopped. You might need to scrape down the sides of the food processor with a rubber spatula. Perfect. While the food processor is running, then slowly add olive oil in a steady, small stream. This is going to help emulsify it and keep the oil from separating. Okay, so as you can see, it's coarsely chopped, it's beautiful. Ooh, and it smells like summer. However, that's a lot of pesto. I can't eat this all at once, so instead, what I'm going to do is freeze it for a cold winter's night. So I've taken a Ziploc bag and I put it into a glass like so. All right, got this little funnel on top, and then I am going to pour in about a cup of this and then zip it up, not all the way, because what we want to do is lay it flat and kind of force all the air out without the pesto coming out. We're going to place this in the freezer, and it's going to freeze nice and thin. And the beautiful part is you'll be able to stack a bunch of bags on top of each other, so that anytime you need a summer fix when it's 10 degrees below zero outside, we've got 80 degrees in a bag ready for you to warm your heart. Rebecca Kolls, WCCO 4 News.
I just knew.
There you go.
I just knew that Rebecca was going to have some pesto for us, because she had leftovers. And
plenty in her freezer. We know where to find it.
Yeah.
All right, so if you want to learn more about what Rebecca's up to, she's always sharing some great advice. You can find that on her Instagram page.